everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And guess who I am? I'm Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, well, coming up today, Dan, we're going to talk about religion.
Yeah.
And
Wait.
religious
On this
beliefs.
show, we're going to talk about religion?
And the religious beliefs of some potential presidential candidates.
Okay. Not potential. Current presidential candidates.
Well, they're candidates for the nomination
right. Yeah.
to the presidency.
Sure.
Yes.
But they're in the race.
They're in the race.
They're in the
they
hunt.
are. Absolutely.
And,
that's happening, and we wanted just to kind of mention it.
we're going to do a little roundup. Or rather, some people have already done some roundups. We're going to recap some roundups.
We didn't look it up.
Yeah.
We typed in. We used Google.
We used the internet.
Yeah,
What else
but-
do you want from us, everybody?
What Google gave us, that's what you're getting.
That's what you got. We're not going to do research. What? You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No, dear God, no.
Anywho.
No.
I'll launch us into some stories if you want.
Please do.
In Missouri,
Yes.
the fine state of Missouri, in St. Louis, or Saint Louis. Can I call it Saint Louis, Missouri?
Only if you call it Missouri.
Missouri. Saint Louis, Missouri. There's someone has lost his job.
Oh.
A man by the name of Matthew Becker was an outspoken pastor and also a professor of theology. A very qualified man. He teaches at Valparaiso University in Indiana. So I guess. So he's in Indiana. He's a pastor also, or was a pastor with the Lutheran Church in the Missouri Synod.
Yes. Okay. There's the
Missouri connection.
that tie-in. Okay.
Yes. So the president of the Synod, Matthew Harrison.
That's my brother. That's my half-brother's name.
Okay, well,
Anyway.
Does your half-brother have a really big bushy beard or mustache, rather?
He has facial hair.
Well,
Does this guy drive, does he like to ride Harleys?
judging by the mustache, I'm going to go with yes.
It might be my brother.
Okay, so your brother has decided. Well, here's what happened. This Becker kid, he's not a kid, but this Becker guy likes to talk about things like issues that he has with the church. He thinks that the church should maybe consider ordaining women, and he thinks that the creation story in the Bible might be figurative, and that maybe there's enough evidence to say that evolution might have happened and all that sort of thing.
Okay. Wow. He's saying this as part of Missouri Synod.
He's saying this as a he's a dissenter in their ranks.
Okay.
And there have been several church members who have filed charges against him in the church courts or whatever.
Oh dear God.
And he's always made it through. He's the investigations have always cleared him. Mainly, I guess, because he's just saying an opinion. He's not, declaring war or anything.
Okay.
Anyway, your brother just kicked him out.
He's kind of a jerk that way.
Indeed. Yeah. This Matthew Harrison finally decided to give him the boot. He's still got his job at Valparaiso University College. University.
Okay.
Which is a Lutheran institution, by the way. Not for nothing, but but yeah, he's no longer a pastor.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
He's just he's applying some reason to his thinking.
That'll get you booted. I think that's the takeaway here. Don't quit thinking.
Oh,
you bastard.
Poor guy.
Quit being qualified and using your don't use that noodle.
No, of course not.
Oh wait, maybe that's
your first mistake.
Maybe that's what takes people to to the flying spaghetti monster using your noodle.
Oh, damn.
See what I did there?
Yeah, that's clever.
I made a pasta joke.
Yeah, I'm sure you're the first.
Nobody's ever thought of that one.
You got to that one, I'm sure, way before anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, you'll start to see it all the time now, but I came up with it first. Okay, go.
Okay, all right. Which one goes first? I'm going to do the story of a Kentucky county clerk.
A county clerk?
A county clerk.
Okay.
In Kentucky.
Okay.
Who this is not going to come as a surprise.
I'm going to go ahead and make a guess here, because the only time we talk about county clerks in southern states these days is when they don't like marrying queers.
Yeah. No, yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Rowan County's. The Rowan County clerk prayed and fasted over her decision to begin refusing marriage licenses for same-sex couples.
Good.
She believes that she is, of course, upholding her oath under the Constitution, because
she doesn't know how to read.
No. Her name. Let's see. Her name's Kim Davis. She's in federal court now, and
meaning being sued in federal court, or
meaning, yeah, she's seems like she's defending herself.
I see.
Because there are 4 couples, along with the American Civil Liberties Union, who are suing her and the county. And 2 of the couples are same-sex couples, and 2 are opposite-sex couples. One of the things that Ms. Davis did after she decided that she wasn't going to issue licenses to gay couples is she decided not to issue marriage licenses at all.
Well, that is a unique take on the situation.
Right. She's like, I'm going to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
She's being fair.
That's what we're hearing right now from the right is like, we're just going to get out of the marriage business. Let's get government out of the marriage business. Yeah,
that's a terrible idea.
It's just, yes.
It's a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Anyway, so she's having to defend herself at the moment. These couples are basically saying that they're being unduly burdened with having to drive to another county in order to seek out a marriage license, which they should be able to get in their home county.
Yeah.
So this is going on. We're gonna.
Sorry, I'm sneezy. Apparently.
So this is going on, and we're going to be seeing a lot of similar cases, I'm sure, as this whole thing continues to work itself out.
I mean, people are going to keep trying to figure out ways to deny gays marriage.
And it's ultimately, this is not going to work.
Well, no. What's amazing about this is that people are perpetually willing to put themselves in the position of, like, 20 years from now having to admit that they were on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
It's just it's the George Wallace thing of like, oh shit, I was so wrong.
Yeah, but the problem is they absolutely cannot see that right now.
No, of course not. They think Jesus is guiding them.
And so they will ultimately be on the right side of history. Because of course Jesus is going to win.
Yeah.
In the end, when he comes back and all of us, basically, are scoffers of religion.
Right.
When we get our justice.
When we get our comeuppance.
When all these gay couples go, oh, we made a terrible mistake.
We were so wrong.
We were so wrong. We loved each other so much, and we were so committed to each other.
that we were blinded by how genuinely awful our love was.
And our desire to take care of each other in old age.
Shame on you, Frank. Shame on you. You're disgusting.
Hey, I'm not married.
That's true. Thank God.
I am blissfully, gaily single.
You are a Jesus. You're complying with Jesus's law.
How dare you, Dan? How dare you?
Until you get married, that's who you are.
I'm only half of a gay man now.
That's right.
I'm just a shell of the gay man I could be.
Welcome to legal marriage. Now you get to be shamed by your parents about not being married yet.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that'll never happen.
That won't happen to you. But gay kids now.
Gay kids will. Yeah.
We'll have to face that.
And
when are you getting married?
And their mother trying to fix them up with the nice boy down the street.
Right.
And yeah.
And see, this is what happened. All of these gay men and women who are blissfully living secure in the knowledge that they couldn't get married, so they don't have to worry about a partner who pressures them to get married.
Oh, believe me, I had mixed feelings about the whole gay marriage thing.
Oh, good. Oh, I guess we can do that now.
I'm so glad for all my gay and lesbian brothers and sisters. Yay.
And now I might have to face that fact.
Damn it. I just really like living alone with my dog.
Anywho. All right. I'm going to move us on to Georgia. Augusta, Georgia.
What?
I am sure a lovely town where a Christian church has been vandalized.
No. What happened?
Spray paint right across the front door and on the bricks.
Well, that's not nice.
It's not nice at all.
What did it say?
It said Leviticus 18:22.
Oh, no.
It was Christian on Christian hatred, as this was a church that was okay for the gays.
What? Oh, there's a schism.
Yeah, Metropolitan Community Church of Our Redeemer, or rather Metropolitan Community Church of Our Redeemer of the long name and we don't care sort of thing. They apparently are cool with the queers, and their pastor Rick Sosby and his partner were the first to get a marriage license after gay marriage became legal in the state.
Oh my God, what a fucking... I hate these people.
I know. So apparently,
I don't even know where that came. That was ridiculous. I was trying to... Never mind.
Anyway, so at one point, a rainbow flag was stolen from the front of the building, and now it says they arrived to the front of the church being tagged with the Leviticus quote, and it says burn and lies.
Right.
So apparently, Christian persecution is real.
Yeah.
It just comes from other Christians.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, you're not Christian enough.
Right.
You're not the right kind of Christian.
You're not. Yeah, exactly.
You're they need to come up with like things that might cause a dilemma for these potential vandalizers. Like a big ol' rainbow cross of some kind. You know what I mean? Like something that they'd be like, that they'll at least pause before, should we destroy that?
Right. A crucifix next to another crucifix with the two Jesuses holding hands.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's offensive, and yet do you destroy Jesus?
You can't destroy Jesus.
How do you destroy Jesus?
So, Yeah. So now I believe in Christian persecution. I didn't before, but it's alive and well in the United States, ladies and gentlemen.
As long as they're judging each other, I'm fine with it. All right. What do we got? How about Iceland?
Oh, I've been there.
Yes, indeed.
I love it.
Until recently, Dan, however, you might have been on the wrong wrong side of the law.
Might have been in trouble.
Possible. It's possible.
Okay.
You might have been in Iceland.
Yeah.
And it is possible that you would have been on the wrong side of the law. I don't know that you were. Because it's not something that's innate about you.
Okay.
However, Iceland...
They don't like guys who are ruggedly handsome.
Iceland has made blasphemy legal.
Oh. I wonder if I blasphemed in Iceland.
They have decriminalized blasphemy. This is in part they're saying that this story isn't brand new, but it's not terribly old either. It comes from just a few weeks ago, but it's apparently in response to the Charlie Hebdo attacks.
Oh, okay.
They've clearly been having a discussion in Iceland about sort of what's important to be protected, and what's more important as far as like freedom of expression and whatnot.
Sure.
It was adopted by a 63. Well, they just phrased this really strangely. 43 members of the 63 member parliament voted in favor.
Wow.
16 were absent and 3 abstained.
Okay.
And this was put forward by, of course, the Pirate Party.
Well,
Iceland and its Pirate Party.
When you've got a population of like, I don't know what,
300,000.
300,000, you
Or
can fuck around a little bit. I mean, Iceland is a country where I believe this is true. The prime minister's phone number's in the phone book.
Right. Well, Dan, just to put it in perspective, like for this will mean something to us. That's 1/3 the population of the Salt Lake Valley.
Right. Yeah. It's not a populous country.
No.
It's a delightful country, I'll say that. And what's funny is that as soon as I made my crack about they don't like handsome guys, I realized, oh right, I'm talking about Iceland, where everyone there is freaking gorgeous. Like, literally, my wife and our friend Dave, we were there with our friends Dave and Eric, and Dave and Andrea were facing a window one time, and me and Eric were facing them. And they didn't look at us once because they were looking out the window at all the passersby with their jaws just agape the entire meal. Like, they kept just nudging each other, like, oh, look at him. Oh, look at her. Oh, look at him.
That must have made you guys feel really good.
Well, I mean, Eric's tall and Viking like himself, so he's fine. I just felt like a troll.
Oh, Dan.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
I know I'm stunningly handsome. It's fine.
we'll have to let Andrea listen to this so she knows how you felt.
No, but they are beautiful there, and they actually get stuff done. They actually like have a national conversation and then go with it.
Dan, you need to stop that.
I got the snurfles, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to podcasting right now. Anyway, that's good for Iceland. Well done. Now I can go there and comfortably say, fuck God.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the law that was overturned.
Okay.
It's said that anyone who, quote, publicly mocks or dishonors the doctrine or worship of a legal religious group in this country shall be fined or jailed up to 3 months.
Wow.
So they had one of those I've got sensitive feelings sort of laws.
Right.
And they've come to their senses and have
said,
gotten rid of it.
You handle your feelings.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Iceland is largely non-religious, I think. But I mean, we are talking about a country where people actually kind of sort of believe in trolls. So,
okay. Now you can make fun of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe that will bring them to their senses. Maybe that's been the problem, is that they weren't properly mocked.
I don't think that's
me. This is me advocating for mocking.
Right.
Mocking.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure that that's the problem. Frankly, it's adorable that I honestly think that the belief in trolls just comes from the same place as like belief in Santa Claus. Like, it's cute to believe in it, and so let's just keep doing it.
Right.
Then we're adults. I don't know. I don't care. We're just going to keep believing.
Are these like the trolls that are on top of your pencil with the crazy hair, like trolls?
No, they live in like the rocks and the earth and stuff. They've actually like
These are like
diverted
bridge trolls.
They've like diverted roads around like believed troll rock outcrops.
Wow.
Like troll homes. They've actually like, yeah, let's just go around it. We don't need to go
safe.
We don't need to go through.
Let's just be safe here, folks, because we don't want to upset the trolls.
No. It's great. Go visit Iceland,
right.
everybody.
I think that still should be mocked.
Do you remember we've talked about the Mount Soledad Cross in beautiful San Diego, California?
Yeah.
It's a very prominent thing. You can see it from almost anywhere in San Diego because it's high atop a hill.
Okay.
And the problem has been that hill is owned by the government.
Oh no.
I believe the federal government actually. So
I think that's true.
So this was it's sort of sold as a veterans memorial, but it's a giant cross. So like there have been Jewish veterans. We reported on this a few years ago, I think.
Yeah,
there have been
this.
Jewish veterans that have been complaining, and atheist veterans who are complaining. The problem is solved.
Oh, what happened?
This is an update.
Okay.
The problem has been solved.
Wow.
The U.S. House passed a bill that would. Here's what they figured out. You don't have to take a cross down. You just sell the land.
Oh, those bastards.
So it was. I don't know.
Just to preserve a cross, they're going to sell the land.
They sold the land to the let's see, the Mount Soledad Memorial Association Incorporated. So it's not on public land anymore. Cross stays.
Fine.
Yep.
Fine.
No big deal.
I don't know. I don't know how much I
can.
can work myself up to care about that.
No. It's not. I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, did the government really need to own that chunk of land?
No, I mean that's a good point. What were they using it for?
They were using it for a cross.
Well,
it's not a very.
They were. But I'm saying there weren't like barracks,
right? Yeah.
On it or some sort of.
It didn't have
spying equipment,
right? It wasn't of strategic importance,
yeah, exactly.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
They found that. I mean, that's a valid workaround. If Oklahoma would sell their entire capital,
privatize the Capitol grounds,
then they could put whatever the fuck they wanted.
Just sell it to Phillips Petroleum or whoever.
Right. I think this is a valid workaround. I think that all of the states.
I mean, as long as it's going for fair market value.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're not just like signing it over for $1
for $1 or something. I think it was what was the amount? It was something. It was 1.4 million.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with a cross that I guess is technically now on private property being within public view. I mean, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Doesn't do me any harm. So
I can see a cross. I'm not a vampire. It doesn't make me wither. I can see it.
By accepting the fact that there's no God, you didn't turn into a vampire.
Right.
That's good to know.
It is nice.
That should be in the literature. It's the brochure that's given to religious parents of atheist children.
Right, exactly. Don't worry. Your kid won't try to suck your blood out. That is not one of the concerns that you need to have. There are others, but not that one.
That's pretty funny. All right. Well, I've got a story that it's not funny.
Oh, good.
It's not sad and terrible. It's
thank God you saved it for last so that we can go out on a low note.
Well, we might be able to find something in here.
Okay.
But because it's not that, it doesn't require us to be serious.
Well, that's good because our show's not very good at that.
Yeah. Apparently down in Texas, in North Texas, a group of Muslims they're just looking for a place to bury their dead.
Sure.
Right? As you do. You want a place to put your people when they die. And they've picked a town called Farmersville, where there's a big tract of land, 35-acre development they want to sort of do in addition to the cemetery.
Sure.
And this is something that religious people often want. They want their own people surrounded by people of the other faith, I guess. And there's probably certain like burial traditions and rites and conditions and terms and agreements, that are required.
Various and sundry rules and regulations.
So they just want to set up this place. Well, of course, it's being North Texas. Oh God. The locals are up in arms.
Well, yeah,
they're concerned about radical Islam coming into their town. They and having a broad Muslim expansion. And the pastor David Meeks, pastor of Bethlehem Baptist Church. There in lovely Farmersville. Here's something that he had to say. He says, how can we stop a mosque or a madrasa training center from going in there?
Well, that's a very good question.
It's a very, very, very good question. These madrasa training centers
that are just popping up all over the place.
Everywhere. Terrorists will be trained in Farmersville is what will happen.
Well, how could you stop it? How would you be able to stop it even?
The author of this article points out that there is already a Buddhist center in this town. And also equally horrifying, a Mormon church.
Yeah.
In this town. So why not? Why not a Muslim cemetery?
I just think, here's the thing. The phrase, how can we stop a madrasa from going in, is so telling about the mindset of these people. Because you can't. You're in America. They're supposed to be able to do a madrasa if they want to.
Exactly.
If they want to teach hatred, they're allowed to.
Yeah.
This is America where we can do that shit.
Let's make sure we all know what a madrasa is.
Right. It's a school.
It's a school.
It's not what they think it is. No. But even if it was as bad as they think it is, that's still legal. I've never been to this guy's sermons, but I'm going to guess what he teaches about Muslims is every bit as horrifying as what he imagines Muslims teach each other about Christians.
Dan, you think so?
You find that to be a controversial statement, do you?
I personally think that Reverend Meeks is probably a very ecumenically minded individual. He just hates Muslims.
Right. He is a very loving, generous soul who hates Muslims. That's
and he wants everybody just to get along and live in peace and harmony as long as there's no fucking Muslims around.
Right. I take Jesus's example and say, as he has loved you, love one another. Except fuck those Muslims. Which Jesus couldn't say himself because the Muslims didn't exist yet.
Right.
When Jesus was here,
that's true.
There weren't Muslims, so he didn't know.
Here's a little known fact about Jesus. He would have been a Muslim hater.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
He hated those guys.
Guaranteed.
If he had been alive at the same time as Muhammad, there would have been a throwdown.
They would have come to blows.
Oh, for sure.
Between those two.
Muhammad would have come in on his flying horse. Jesus would have ridden in on his donkey, which is less impressive looking. But then Jesus would have run across the water to attack him.
Right. And probably overturned some tables along the way.
That's his big move. His big move is to throw over some tables.
I suspect Muhammad has a pretty long reach.
Muhammad, he's probably a tall guy. Yeah.
He probably can really
He's got a serious left cross.
Yeah.
But then Jesus would come in with some Jesus magic and just be like, Hadouken! And then and Muhammad would go flying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little known fact that the Hadouken was pioneered by Jesus Christ.
Oh, really?
Jesus of Nazareth is the originator of the Hadouken.
That makes sense.
Also the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the upside down kicky thing.
Okay.
Helicopter kicky thing, I think.
Drunken master.
If
you like the wine, we know that.
If my Street Fighter remembrance is clear.
Is this all from
Oh, then the nerds are way ahead of you on this one, Franklin.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently you're not up on your Street Fighter.
This is that video game. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
No. I thought initially you might be going with like martial arts films, which is why I went to, Jackie Chan.
Oh, I do like the idea of Jesus as Drunken Master, though.
Drunken Master, yeah.
I mean, frankly, if you need to be drunk to fight well, a guy who can turn water into wine is
exactly.
a good. That's
what I'm saying.
That's a really good power for him to have. He's like, somebody give me water and anything. It doesn't matter. Beer, I don't care. I'm just just give me dirt. I'll turn it into wine. Just give me glug 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 glug. And then he's like Popeye.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets it in him,
he's been losing this whole time. Like
right.
Muhammad is like beating his ass.
So then he just says, "Hang on, I need to get some water."
Yeah.
Glug, glug, glug. And suddenly he's like, Power Jesus. Which I think is in the Bible. I think.
Yeah.
And behold, and verily, Jesus said unto them, I am's what I am. Oh no, that was God who said, "I am that I am."
Yeah, no, but that's pretty good.
Sure. Wait a minute, but God and Popeye are the same person.
Jesus,
Popeye is God.
I'm sure there's some sort of logic. Anyway,
wow, we have strayed far afield, my friends.
What?
And you're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Right.
If you have anything to say about this, or if you have any God Popeye theories that you'd like to share with us,
or anything you'd like to correct.
I don't know what there could possibly be to correct. We're so obsessed with accuracy here at the show. Anyway, you can write to us, podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail, 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or also on Facebook, you can search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge.
Sure can.
And request to join.
Yep.
Once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in, you're in. It's a really good statement. Yeah. All right. So we got a Patty break.
Yeah, he's back.
Pat's back. He's finally. This is the first time he's made any comment that I'm aware of about the gay marriage ruling. But it doesn't start out about that.
This is Thomas, Pat, who says, the pro-abortion community says a fetus isn't a human until born, but they're obviously human enough to harvest their very human body parts. Yet there are legal experts that say these actions may fall within legal parameters. How could this kind of sociopathic hypocrisy possibly be legal?
Well, the whole thing is screwed up. When you have Roe versus Wade was called a black man's abortion, it didn't base on any law whatsoever. And he made it up on faulty sociological grounds. And we have this confusion. The Supreme Court has ruled on so many things, and they've messed things up because they haven't allowed the reason or our collective consciousness to play, but they've come up with these strange rules. Same thing about separation of church and state, etc. So, it's hypocrisy, yes. And you watch what's going to happen now. They've said abortion is a constitutional right. They have said homosexuality is a constitutional right. They've said now homosexual marriage is a constitutional right. Watch what happens. Love affairs between men and animals going to be absolutely permitted. Polygamy without question is going to be permitted, and it will be called all right. And more and more and more, they're going to break down the barriers.
There have been groups that have been trying to push that for a long time.
Well, they're going to succeed now because intellectually you can't get around these Supreme Court decisions. Yeah. The problem is the people can't move any longer. Their elected officials can't make any decisions, and consequently, we are stuck with a fixed doctrine of 5 old men on the Supreme Court. 5 men with black robes. They're not all old anymore. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's been a few years since he's looked at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, he's not paying too much attention to the actual composition. He's really upset about the 5 old men. I got news for you. The 5 old men on the Supreme Court, they're on your side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least 4 of them are always on your side, and 1 flops back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and who is he to get upset about old men making decisions?
Right, yeah.
That we should all live by.
Oh, the old men are ruining this country. I hate them. Goddamn old men. Having love affairs with animals.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's next.
Love affairs. It's not just sex.
Right.
I like that he goes for the love. I like that he's... You know what's going to happen next? Very kind, loving relationships between men and their animals.
Yeah. Oh.
Every slippery slope leads to an animal's vagina. That's all I'm saying. Don't forget it.
Oh, Flopsy.
I don't know who Flopsy is, but it's probably somebody's llama.
Little rabbit. Flopsy, Mopsy, and
Cottontail?
Cottontail.
You can't have an affair with a rabbit.
Why not?
I don't know.
A love affair?
A love affair.
If I was
you
going to
can
pick an animal to have a love affair with,
It would be a
rabbit.
A fluffy little rabbit.
They're adorable.
They
Who
are
doesn't
adorable.
love a rabbit?
Yeah, but
Right?
do they love you back? It feels like it's...
Flopsy does.
Well, you and Flopsy do have a very special relationship. That's true. I'm going to get to some of our feedback from listeners. We got an email. This is from Sam.
Oh, yeah?
Sam has written into us before. This is our friend from Kenya, or who now lives in the U.S., but originally from Kenya. Do you remember Sam?
I do, yeah.
Hey, Frank and Dan. Last month, my mom and I went to visit Kenya. After being exposed to a little American culture firsthand, it was rather interesting to me the kind of talk I heard while I was there. As you probably know, POTUS is going to Kenya this month. That's right. Our president is visiting his homeland.
His place of birth.
That's right. This is just off the back of Love winning on 6/26, meaning the gay marriage rule.
Right, okay.
Kenyans heard about this and they were not happy. In more than one church service and on the telly, there was a lot of religious people saying, if Obama's bringing us talk about men marrying men and women marrying women, we don't want him here. There was even a protest march and a rally in the capital, Nairobi City. Yes, capital, Nairobi City. That was my fault. I did not read that well. Anyway, he says, I found this fascinating. I guess for me, it's America 1, Kenya 0. My home country appears to be in the position Ireland was in about 30 years ago, with the church really having a grip on society and culture. This issue matters to me because I'm pansexual, and I'm glad I'm now in a place where I can fall in love with a girl, a boy, or anyone in between. I would be allowed to marry them. Oh, where were I to fall in love with a girl, a boy, or anyone in between, I would be allowed to marry them. Stay awesome, lads, he says.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, welcome to a place where it's allowed, but clearly often frowned on.
Depending on
where
who's
you
making
are.
the face.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, that's better than most parts of Africa, where in some parts of Africa you could get killed.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Wouldn't it?
But yeah, thanks for the update there. I actually did see a news article about Kenyans protesting POTUS going there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
that's so rude.
I know.
Rude.
I know. If he's going to grace you with his presence, you just...
This is the goddamn president of the United States.
You just fucking take it, bitch.
It's an honor.
It is an honor, and you need it. So you just take it like a little bitch that you are. I don't know why I'm getting that aggressive about it. Never mind. I apologize.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are certain figures in this world that it is just sort of an honor.
That's true.
You know?
I would put
I'm not fully serious, but I'm kind of serious.
Well, I mean,
George W. Bush, that I've been in the same room with him and he'd,
shaking your hand,
shaking my hand, I would have been like, wow, I just shook the hand of the president of the United States. I wouldn't have been stoked that it was George W. Bush who was president, the president whose hand I got to shake.
Right.
But still, that's a thing.
Absolutely. The Pope.
The Pope.
I don't agree with the Pope.
Yeah.
But it's an honor when he visits you and your country, and it's a cool thing. It's an interesting moment.
Yeah. Vladimir Putin.
Sure. If I could shake that guy's hand, that would be a story I'd be telling for a long time. I think I might wink at him, though. And that would be a problem. That might be a problem. Just give him a little wink and a smile.
Yeah. An honor, though, nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely.
A privilege.
Why don't you throw down a voicemail for us?
Okay, all right. Okay, so the first one I want to play is from Sarah. She's a long-time listener and even a longer-time friend. And she is responding. Well, she'll get to it, but the thing that I want to make sure everybody remembers is the audio that we played from last week with the preacher man in New York who was talking about semen. Right?
Oh,
and
semen.
And it being, he had some theories about it. Right?
Well, he knew biologically how it was created.
Exactly.
Hi, Frank and Dan. This is Sarah calling from beautiful Eugene, Oregon, although we're all about to die in a fiery earthquake hellscape, it seems. I'm just calling in response to the most recent episode, and I wanted to note that I used to teach college writing, and a student made the exact same loosing typo in her paper. But I pointed out that her constant references to loosing one's virginity sounded like she was unleashing it on an unsuspecting population. So I thought you'd get a kick out of that. And then only other point is that your interlude center of the show preacher makes perhaps the greatest argument for condoms that I have ever heard. All right. Love the show. Bye.
Yeah, because he said that semen was the cream of the blood.
It's the cream of the blood. He made it sound so gross that you don't actually like.
You wouldn't want that stuff near you ever.
Ever. Ugh, disgusting.
That would cure masturbation right there.
Just, ew, cream of the blood. Oh,
no.
It's all over me.
Why does it feel so good?
Well,
Jesus.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
Enjoy your hellscape. We had to sort of have a discussion about what the hell you were talking about on that on that fiery hellscape thing.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Apparently, there's a fault line. There's a potential for what? A chunk of
that beautiful Oregon coast.
Yeah, you're in Eugene. You're not on the coast. You're inland far enough that surely that you'll be fine.
Yeah, they'd probably get shaken pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah, you'll get shook up for sure. Anyway, Brooklyn wrote into us. Hi, guys. Love the podcast. I've been listening for a few months now and recently finished off most of the old episodes. I noticed how often you talk about instances of religion messing around in your school system. By your, I think she means the United States. And the absence of contracts you mentioned in your most recent episode really tipped my curiosity over the edge. I'm writing from Australia, where, as far as I know, religious preaching is rare and pretty much never accepted in our public schools. We learned about all religions in general terms, and I actually only met one kid in primary school who identified as Christian. Anyway, I was just wondering, as an outsider, how prevalent religion actually is in day-to-day activities in your public schools, because it sounds terrifying.
Well, it depends largely on what part of the country you're in.
It very much does, as a matter of fact. I grew up here in Salt Lake City, Utah, which you would think would be pretty bad about it, because it's the home of a world religion.
Right, an outsider might think that. Yeah.
But my experience was that other than seminary, which is an off-campus or next door to the school, they have the building, and Mormon kids would get one period off in high school to wander over and learn about Jeebus and then go back to regular school.
And Jobus Mip.
And Jobus.
If you're going to say Jeebus,
then it's Jobus.
Jobus.
Anyway, yeah, learn about all that stuff. So
that's here.
That was the extent of it. In my elementary school, I know that I went to... Here's the thing. I don't even know that I would have noticed in elementary school, because I was constantly confusing. You know, you go to so much goddamn church as a Mormon. They're like... Did I know who was a president of the church and who was a president of the United States?
Right.
No. Like, I was pretty sure John Taylor was president of both. I don't know. You just don't know as a kid.
Well, I called my first grade teacher Sister Haug. Or maybe that was that was probably actually kindergarten.
Right.
Actually, that would make more sense. But yeah.
But you don't get a lot of that stuff here. You get a little bit. Like, so the abstinence contract thing, the reason that it was so weird to us was that in Utah, you don't get that very much.
Right.
Anyway, what was your experience in Oklahoma?
Oh, well, I mean, I split my childhood between California and Oklahoma.
Right.
So the earlier years were in California, and it was pretty slim on the religious references and whatnot. Come the holidays, we would do sort of. I mean, they weren't. We'd never do like Jesus-y things, but it was all Christmassy.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Sort of the secular Christmas stuff. There was plenty of that.
Yeah, you'll make a Christmas tree. Yeah, I did all that stuff too. You'll make a Rudolph or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that was part of the schools in California, and the Jehovah's Witnesses kids got to make something else, and that's where we were at.
Go draw a goddamn building
on the inclusion level, right? It wasn't that nobody got to do the Christmas stuff. It was that the Christian kids got to do the Christmas stuff, and the Jehovah's Witnesses, which I guess are a kind of Christian,
right?
They got to, I remember one art project that we did where the ornament for the Christmas tree that we were making wasn't anything tied to. Actually, I remember it was like a little plastic cup, and we used like little pom poms, and we made a little soda drink, right? And so the kids got a paper clip that they could then turn that into a Christmas tree ornament.
Oh,
and the Jehovah's Witness kids got a magnet that they could put on it, and it was for the refrigerator.
That's nice. What about you? You didn't have any Jews or anything?
No, there were no Jews in Manteca, California.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough.
I would be shocked. Shocked and horrified. And then in Oklahoma, I mean, it was small town Oklahoma. Yeah.
I'm guessing you had prayers before pep rallies.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Prayers before games. There were prayers at the beginning of the school year. There were... in the classroom, open talk about Jesus and sort of very, very sort of Baptist type religious principles. I was very confused by grace and those sort of concepts, and had to ask the other kids for clarification. Of like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I remember the first time I ever went to a kid's house that wasn't Mormon and had a meal there, and they were some sort of evangelical or whatever, and they all held hands for their prayer, and I got really creeped out.
Oh, really?
Like, I thought, like...
Yeah, because you're supposed to fold your arms.
Yeah.
And bow your head.
Mormons are, like, as disconnected from each other as physically possible. They literally fold their arms up to their chests, and it's like, it's as far away from touching as you can possibly
We
get.
would hold hands for family prayer.
Would you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, not us.
Really?
Oh, no, not even close. Everybody, you fold your arms and you bow your head. You think about Jesus and get away from each other.
We wouldn't do it for for the blessing on dinner.
Okay.
That was fold your arms and bow your head.
Oh.
Even though I went to friends' houses where they all held hands around the table.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I thought it was the work of the devil
but
himself.
that's probably because at family prayer, when we would do it at night before going to bed,
you would hold
we
each
would
other's
hold
hands.
hands.
Okay. To me, it makes sense. You hold each other's hands around the table, and it creates a vortex of praying.
That's the whole point.
Which sends it far more powerfully shooting through the roof of your house.
And you never experienced the prayer circle in the temple.
That's
although
true.
You've seen video of.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mormons do. Maybe that's why they don't get too touchy feeling in praying circles. It reminds them too much of the temple.
Oh, maybe. That's interesting.
I don't want to bring any of the temple home.
Anyway, thanks for writing, Brooklyn. I think a Brooklyn from Australia should meet someone named Sydney from Brooklyn. Anyway, sorry.
That's ridiculous.
I'm so stupid. Go on, please. Let's do another voicemail.
Or Adelaide.
Right, exactly.
Such a pretty name.
Hi, guys. This is Matt Walters. I've written to you guys a bunch of times before, and I just had a minor correction for you on the last episode, and I know I'll forget it by the time I get home. So I'm calling you from the road in the middle of Oklahoma, where I unfortunately live. You mentioned the colleges here in Oklahoma and also the convent that just had the landmark court decision against them. I wanted to mention that you got it a little bit wrong. The deal is that this doesn't actually conflict with the Hobby Lobby decision, because the Hobby Lobby case said that they had the right to opt out of paying for contraception. These latest lawsuits are in response to the right to opt out of paying for it. So what they did as a concession to people who didn't want to have to pay for the contraception was say, well, then what you need to do is sign an opt-out form, and that will give the federal government the ability to intercede on behalf of the employees so that they still have the right to get the contraception. You just don't have to pay for it. These cases alleged that signing the opt-out form is, in fact, an infringement upon their rights, because they're still facilitating their employees to be able to get the contraception even if they're not the ones paying for it. So that's how they differ, and that's why in this case they said, no, this is not a burden on your liberties. You don't have the right to say that you shouldn't have to opt out just to interfere with their ability to get the contraception from another source. So I thought you'd find that interesting, and I think I got all of that right, but you might want to double-check me on that. Anyway, love the show, and hopefully I'll get to meet you guys at some point as well. Bye.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much. That sounds all familiar or correct.
And you wildly overestimated our willingness to look into stuff.
Right. We'll just let that one stand.
That's on you. If your explanation is right, it's right. If not, well, okay, whatever.
And dear listener, caveat emptor, I guess. You get what you pay for with this podcast. All right. Let's see. Nate wrote in about something that you, Frank, wrote on our blog.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
To the guys that thank God I'm atheist, I just wanted to thank you for your post on your website about Mormon patriarchal blessings.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a closet atheist living with my very Mormon family, and I got my blessing today.
Oh, boy.
I had been a bit nervous and feeling a bit like a failure because I wasn't, quote, worthy to get it. He says in parentheses, ridiculous, I know, but it's hard to really get away from a religion when it's so constantly reinforced.
Yeah.
Your post helped remind me of things I already know and reminded me that being an atheist isn't something shameful that I'll always have to hide. People like you have made a huge difference in my life, and I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is really nice.
See, we're not worthless.
No.
We make a difference in people's lives sometimes. Isn't that nice?
Yes. It's wonderful. Wow, the patriarchal blessing, though.
Yeah. And can you imagine going into that as an atheist?
It would have been far less of a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Had I just known going in that it wasn't.
That it was bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for me going into it, I really wanted it to like
to tell you something.
Tell me some stuff. Yeah. I was ready. I was primed.
Right.
I believed. So when it was like super uber generic and I totally saw that, I was like, dude, what the fuck?
I'm better than this.
You
clearly didn't see who I am.
Well, it was, I mean, yes, I was a teenager, and so that was part of the thinking. Was it like, I'm special, and you have to give me a special blessing?
Yeah.
But the other part of the thinking was, this is clearly what you say to everybody.
Yeah.
You said all of the same things that you say to everybody. Mm-hmm. How is it, this is supposed to be personalized.
It's your personal scripture.
Yeah.
For your life.
Right.
It's to tell you, who you are and what your possibility,
right?
What your potential is.
Which I now realize, like, the dude didn't know me from Adam. He'd never met me before in his life. So it's like, of course he's going to go generic. What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
But at least learn something from the psychics out there and like come up with plausibly what sounds like unique things, even though it's not.
Right. Yeah.
At least do that.
Yeah.
Shane also wrote into us, Frank and Dan, I really like the idea of a meetup in Fort Worth. I think you will find a really cool town with great people. I just wanted to write in to show support for a meetup.
Aha.
I bring that up
Yes.
because, yes, we want to meet up very much, and we want someone in Fort Worth to help us arrange it because we don't know anything about that town, and we don't know what's near. We're staying at the Omni Hotel in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And and we don't know what's around there.
Mm-hmm.
We're assuming that the Omni will be packed, and so that will be a bad place to meet up. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in that area that we can get to easily would be good.
But suggestions, that's what we're asking for.
Right.
Is or maybe a group leader.
Yeah. If someone wants to step up to the plate and arrange this thing, that would be great. Contact us as soon as you hear this, and we'll put you in charge.
Absolutely.
So yes, thank you for that. Shane also was a donor to getting us there.
Well, thank you, Shane. We've actually had a lot of response on this, Dan.
Right, we're about halfway to our goal,
I
or
think
maybe
it's closer to about 2/3.
somewhere in that range, somewhere between half and 2/3.
Yeah,
I think.
But we're getting there. There's basically only what 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 week.
Yeah, we're leaving
from launch, from this episode's launch.
Right.
There's less than a week before we leave.
Right.
So if you've been thinking about helping us out with this trip, now's your chance.
Right. So what you can do is go to thankgodimatheist.com, which is our fine webpage out there on the interwebs. And then just click the
big banner.
It's a big banner ad on the right side of the
Yeah.
screen. Several people have done that. I want to thank them all. Clinton donated. Sarah, thank you, Sarah. Jenny, who says, "Hey guys, good luck to you. Be careful out there in Texas, and don't let any of that demon semen get you."
Oh my!
Yeah, they have that in Texas. I don't know if you knew that. Julia gave us a donation. Celia, thank you so much. Again, Shane, I said that. Joan, and Robin, and Karen. So all very generous.
And there was one that came in. I noticed it.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
I got it. But we're recording not on our launch day, so we'll miss some of you for this week.
We're kind of recording a little early this week. So.
Right. Yeah. I'm going out of town, so we were recording a little early. So thank you all, and we'll get the rest of you next week. Believe me, any donation is gladly and gratefully accepted.
Always.
These donations range from $5 to hundreds of dollars, and we really appreciate everything that everyone's willing to give.
It always amazes me how generous and supportive our listeners are.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Right. So
thank you guys.
So if you can only give a little bit, but you want to help out, that little bit is great. Mm-hmm. It's not, you're not lesser for doing that. However, if you give more, you are greater.
Oh, dear God. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Let's move on.
We should also just quickly mention the Google Hangout, which from now on will always be on the last Monday of every month.
Right.
And we're going to be doing that at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So figure that out, depending on where you are. And then...
so that's Monday pulling up my calendar now.
Which 27th.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, so that's coming up. This is for donors who are at the $15 a month and higher. So you'll be getting an email this week with details.
Yep. Excellent. So what we wanted to talk about today as our final little segment is a roundup of our the current field, the current field.
Oh yes,
the ever expanding, but only the current field of presidential candidates for the presidency of the United States of America.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them, and we wanted to know where do they fall religiously. One would think that we know mostly, which we do, but maybe we can expand on it a little bit, or expound both.
Right. I like both.
So let's just go through them, shall we?
Yeah.
One by one. I'll start with Ted Cruz.
Ooh, Ted Cruz.
I'm going to call him Theodore Cruz. I don't know if that's what Ted is short for, but I kind of like it.
Could be Edward.
Yeah, but I'm going with Theodore.
Okay.
Anyway, Brother Cruz is a Southern Baptist, a committed Southern Baptist. He's taken a strong stance against same-sex marriage and is currently seeking to introduce legislation to protect each state's right to hate gays as they will. Here's a lovely quote from him in an interview with CBN, which is the Christian Broadcasting Network, I believe.
That is correct, yeah.
Where he said, and I find this to be a delightful little quote. He said, "At the end of the day, faith is not organized religion. It's not going to a church." So I agree with him for the first part.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Second part of the quote is, "It is a personal relationship with Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior." Which I struggle with a little bit more. If your definition of faith doesn't involve just going to a church or doesn't involve organized religion, but does require a relationship with Jesus Christ, I feel like there are some Jews and some Muslims who might have something to say about that. About that being the definition of faith.
Yeah, no, it's rather limited.
Yeah, so there you go.
Limited understanding of faith.
Yeah, his idea about Barack Obama is that he was a Marxist who, quote, seeks to destroy all concept of God. Which is a weird thing for a professed Christian to do, but I guess.
Yeah, one who's clearly I mean, he's given talks at churches that were more like sermons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. All
recently.
Right. Yes.
He sang Amazing Grace.
Yes. This is not just for show, people.
Well,
I mean, there might be a bit of it because, I mean, he is a politician in the United States and it was a funeral and whatnot. So there might be a bit that's for show.
I feel like it's safe to assume that most of these guys' religion is pretty much for show.
Well, yeah. But he's picked his show, and his show is not Islam.
Right. Or destroying all concept of God. Anyway, who do you got?
Rand Paul.
Okay.
He
a doctor.
He is a doctor, actually. He was baptized into the Episcopal Church.
Oh.
But now attends Presbyterian church with his wife, Kelly.
Okay.
She's a deacon at the church.
Oh, I see.
Now, those are both pretty mainline Protestant, faiths that aren't too
extreme,
too wacky, He says, "My faith has never been easy for me." Okay. He's also said that it's never been easy for him to talk about his faith, and he also, while quoting Dostoevsky,
yeah,
damn it, that V, he said, "I did not arrive at my Hosanna through childlike faith, but through a fiery furnace of doubt."
Okay.
He continued, "I do not and cannot wear my religion on my sleeve. I am a Christian, but not always a good one. I am not completely free of doubts. I struggle to understand man's inhumanity to man."
Well, I really respect that statement, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually honest and forthright.
Well, that is the problem with Rand Paul.
Is that he keeps being honest and stuff?
It seems to be the case. I mean, there are plenty of moments where you go, I don't hate this man. And then there are other moments where you're like, I'm terrified.
You are a crazy, crazy person and you want to destroy everything in the world. Yeah. So there you go.
And let's see. What else? This is an interesting line. He says, "I'm not a pacifist, but I do think it unacceptable not to hate war."
Okay. I'll go for that. I'll go for that.
These are not sort of typical expressions of faith and belief that you hear from presidential candidates in
From
this
Republican
country.
presidents.
Especially Republicans.
Right. Especially Republican. But yeah.
And I think Democrats feel the need to do a little bit of a show where they're not going to actually express their real doubts because they don't want to upset someone in the middle who might actually be religious.
Right.
But on the right, you normally hear crazy batshit talk. But anyway.
Okay, I'm about to blow your mind.
Oh?
With one Mr. Marco Rubio.
How is my mind going to be blown?
Thirsty Marco Rubio.
Why is he thirsty?
Don't you remember when he gave that one speech, the response to the State of the Union? And he just kept licking his lips, and suddenly he was just so parched that he tried to pound an entire little bottle of water in 0.3 seconds or something. It was the weirdest.
It was just a train wreck of a.
It was.
I mean, he saw that little tally light come on the camera, and it was just like.
It's like every bit of moisture just evaporated from his body. Just let me just get up. And he didn't calmly just stop, reach, take a drink of water.
Excuse me.
And then get back to what he was saying. It was like he was trying to fit it in between words.
It was panic.
It was sheer panic. And he was like, he was saying his speech, and he's like, and I don't think that we can allow the people to come in. And it was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, Rubio, it won't surprise you to learn that Rubio was born into a Catholic family, him being of Cuban roots.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It may surprise you, however, to learn that as a young person, he was baptized into the LDS faith. Rubio was a Mormon.
Our first Mormon president will be Marco Rubio.
Well, our first formerly Mormon or Foreman president.
Really?
Yes, he was baptized. He attended the church for years as a child and was baptized again into the Mormon faith.
What?
Apparently. Oh, no, baptized again, meaning he was baptized into Catholics and then was baptized again into the Mormon faith.
Okay.
But he returned to Catholicism and took First Communion in 1984, according to an interview.
Did you have to do anything special to sort of shed the Mormon cooties?
Yeah, I think there's a dance that you do, and then you have to like drop holy water all over yourself. No.
Okay.
However, he's no longer Catholic either.
Oh, this guy is flaky.
He is all over the place. In his memoir, An American Son, his wife, he talks about his wife Jeanette, who started attending a Southern Baptist church with their children, Christ Fellowship Church in Miami. And he says of that church that they, quote, sparked a spiritual awakening in Jeanette's life and eventually in mine too. So apparently now he's a Baptist. Will you get your act together, Rubio? Anyway.
Okay, so the list continues with people I'm not terribly familiar with.
Yes, now let's sort of power through some of these because these are the nobody cares.
Yeah. So the name that fell upon me is Ben Carson.
Sure.
He's best known. Did not know this for his breakthrough work in separating conjoined twins.
Right. He's a good doctor.
Fantastic. Okay.
Sure.
Let's see. He has been baptized twice into the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I guess the first time didn't take.
Well, he was separated surgically from it, and then they had to.
Blah. Oh. He had a conjoined twin.
He had the
little sprinkle initially hit the brother.
Right.
And
got all on.
When they separated them, there was a question about. Yeah. But yeah, while he was baptized twice into it, doesn't sound like there was anything in between. He says that the Adventist denomination is the only spiritual home I've ever known.
Okay.
And he's pro-life. He believes in traditional marriage. He I don't know. There's the most important thing for me is to have a relationship with God.
Okay.
To know that the creator of the universe loves you, sent his son to die for your sins. That's very empowering. The owner, that's a very interesting. He finally paid off the mortgage.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got the.
I got news for you, man. There's nothing empowering about figuring out that somebody else owns everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing empowering about learning that you are just a renter in God's universe.
Maybe a leaser.
No. You get nothing. There's no rent-to-own option here.
Oh, no. Okay.
Not unless you're Mormon, in which case you get your own segment of heaven later, or of the universe.
Yeah.
Carly Fiorina, former CEO of Hewlett-Packard.
Really?
Is also looking for the Republican nomination. I think they just needed to get a girl in. Anyway, that's so wrong.
That's terrible, Dan.
Anyway, brought up Episcopal, describes herself as a Christian.
Okay.
Here's her quote: "I am quite certain." Oh, she had a battle with breast cancer.
Oh.
And also had to deal with the death of a stepdaughter.
Okay.
About which she said, "I am quite certain that I would not have been able to endure those without a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I am forever grateful that I rediscovered a personal relationship with God before that happened." So apparently she had lost that personal relationship. They had just fallen out of touch.
Right.
They hadn't written for a while, you know. But
sad.
Thank goodness she found it before she had to actually deal with her emotions and sadness.
Right.
Next.
Mike Huckabee. I don't know if we need to get too far into Mike Huckabee. Southern Baptist.
Yeah, he's not exactly cagey about his religious
he's a preacher.
beliefs.
Right. He gave his first sermon as a teenager.
Yeah.
He said recently, in every person's life, the only thing that makes life truly worth living the next day is knowing that emptiness is filled by the Lord Jesus Christ. And he thinks that his pastoral experience is the greatest preparation that a person can have for public service.
That's terrifying.
There's not any social pathology that I could not put a name and face to. I've dealt with a 14-year-old girl who's pregnant and hasn't told her parents yet. I've talked to the young people who's head over heels in debt. Head over heels in debt. I think it gives you a real.
I don't think that's how we're supposed to use the phrase "head over heels." I feel like that's a misuse of that idiom.
I think it gives you a real perspective about people and what they're going through. That's important. You know, having there is a point there that is actually pretty valid.
I agree.
You know?
Unfortunately, he gave all the wrong advice to all of those people.
Yeah. I just don't want a Southern Baptist minister as president of the United States.
Right.
I think that's just a bad idea. He says there's a difference between right and wrong. There's a difference between good and evil. And he says that he will keep all the options on the table in order to defeat the evil forces of radical Islam.
Oh, wow.
That's who you're getting with a vote for Huckabee.
There you go. Next up is Rick Santorum. I feel like I don't have to say anything here. I feel like it's whatever I say is almost just redundant. He was raised Catholic, so we know that he's like extreme Catholic.
He's really Catholic.
But
excuse me, my voice just went out.
You turned into Harvey Firestein, is what you did.
His voice just my voice just went out.
And that's all I need to say about him. He's like the most anti-gay person on the planet, and he's everything that you can think of that would be repulsive about a religious person. He embodies that. Right. So thank you, O Frothy One, for all of your hatred.
George Pataki, former governor of New York.
Oh yeah.
He it might be a little bit of a long shot, but he was raised Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk much about his sort of religious experience, probably because he's pro-gay marriage, pro-choice. He's criticized his fellow Republicans for getting hung up on social issues. He's probably more along the lines of what you would call a fiscal conservative, and that's probably where a lot of his republicanism comes from. I don't know a lot about Pataki politically, I have to say, but he that's probably what brought him to republicanism, not the crazy religious right.
Right.
So we can move on.
Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina, which is it's not a great start. I don't know. South Carolina's been in a lot of trouble lately. He's, of course, Baptist, Southern Baptist, was born and raised in it. He's an interesting one, though. He's been accused of being too liberal by some.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, he was
too liberal.
Well, he's smart enough to have been very much against the Tea Party, which has
rabid liberal.
Right, exactly. Or he just noticed that his whole that his party's being ruined and was like, can we reel this back in? He said some interesting things. Quote, "Am I for traditional marriage? Yes. I believe marriage has stood the test of time between a man and a woman ordained by God, and that's, well, most societies have organized around that concept." However, he added this: "Things are changing. So at the end of the day, being for traditional marriage without animosity is where I stand. If the Supreme Court rules sometime this year that same-sex marriage bans are unconstitutional, then that will be a defining moment in that debate, and it will be time for us to move forward as a society."
Whenever I've heard the name Lindsey Graham in the past, I've just assumed he was crazy.
That doesn't sound too crazy.
That doesn't sound crazy.
That sounds pretty fucking reasonable.
That sounds pretty good.
It also sounds like the sentence that will ensure that he could never possibly get the GOP nomination.
Well, the fact that he stands against the Tea Party.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt him. Huh. All right.
Yeah. He's quote, pro-life guy. But he says when a woman is raped, it is not the will of God. It is a crime. And at the end of the day, we want to showcase as Christian conservatives a loving heart.
Aha.
So,
all right.
There you go.
Okay.
He's got no chance.
No. Poor guy. Rick Perry.
The other Rick.
Rick Perry. Former governor of Texas and former presidential runner. Mm-hmm. He let's see, his family, he grew up in a family they were members of the United Methodist Church, but he says that there was apparently there was a Methodist church on one end of the street and a Baptist church on the other, and he regularly attended both.
Traitor.
Yeah. Flip-flopper. Indecisive.
That's right.
And this is what he says about his personal faith. My faith journey is not the story of someone who turned to God because I wanted to. It was because I had nowhere else to turn. I spent many a night pondering my purpose, talking to God, wondering what to do with this one life among the billions that were on the planet. What I learned as I wrestled with God is that I didn't have to have all the answers, that they would be revealed to me in due time, and that I needed to trust him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He's, of course, he's critical of Obama and about sort of this a need to tackle radical Islam more stridently. Quote, Obama says that ISIS is not a religious movement. Again, he is simply wrong. To deny the fundamental religious nature of the threat and to downplay the seriousness of it is naive, it is dangerous, and it is misguided. ISIS represents the worst threat to freedom since communism.
Okay, well, those are two very different statements, but sure. I agree that it's a very religious movement.
Yeah.
That ISIS couldn't exist without the religion.
No.
Anywho, let's move on.
Yes.
the man that I'm handicapping as the guy who's going to make it through.
Yeah,
is one Mr. Jeb Bush.
Oh, okay.
Jebediah is the name that I think he should be called. I don't even know if it's Jeb is short for Jebediah, but I want it to be, so that's what I'm saying. Raised in the Episcopal Church, as was his brother, George W., went on to become an evangelical nut bar. But Jeb has gone the other direction and gone to Catholicism. He took his wife's Catholicism on. His wife is a Latina named Colombia. And so he says, I love the sacraments of the Catholic Church, the timeless nature of the message of the Catholic Church, the fact that the Catholic Church believes in and acts on absolute truth as its fundamental principle and doesn't move with the tides of modern times, as my former religion did.
Okay.
Oh, when you're switching to Catholicism because it's unwavering, stalwartness, you're just not reading history very well. Is what I think. Anyway,
yeah.
Then he said that although some may think Christianity is, quote, static, narrow, and outdated, he said Christians can choose how they respond. He said, quote, we can take this. He says we can take this as unfair criticism as it typically is, or we can take it as further challenge to show in our lives the most dynamic, inclusive, and joyful message that ever came into the world. So apparently he loves that Catholicism can't change.
Yeah.
And how dynamic it is.
Can't be both static and dynamic at the same time.
Yeah, you can if you're Jeb and your Catholicism.
Wow.
All right, who's next?
Okay, all right. Donald Trump.
Oh, the Donald. Does he worship anything other than... The question becomes, does he worship anything other than himself? Like, is there a shrine in his house that isn't a mirror? Because it seems to me that he's got a god, and he talks just like him.
Yeah. Well, apparently then... I was going to try to turn that in. Run with your joke. Couldn't.
Okay.
Not with where I'm going to start. He's promising right now... we all know who the Donald is, right?
Yeah.
We're clear on this?
Yeah.
Billionaire, television personality, known for his catchphrase, "You're fired."
Right. And now known for horrible racist statements and like hating on prisoners of war and all of that stuff. So really an interesting character.
Yes. He has promised that he will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created.
Okay, so he is a creation of God.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, that answers your question.
I'm the best creation of God that's ever existed. Nobody could be as good as me.
Is he a Kennedy now?
He's halfway between a Trump and a Kennedy. Yeah, that wasn't working. I'll work on my Trump.
Yeah.
I also need to work on my Jeb. I feel like I had a good W down.
Yeah.
And now that's irrelevant.
Trump is a Presbyterian and, quote, proud of it.
Oh.
Despite numerous reports that he is Catholic. Or possibly a member of the Dutch Reformed Church.
Dutch Reform.
He said, I believe in God. I am Christian. I think the Bible is certainly. It is the book. It is the thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, he gets sent a lot of Bibles.
Oh.
This is a thing. You send the Donald Bibles. He says, there is no way I would ever throw anything negative to a Bible. I would have a fear of doing something other than very positively. So actually, I store them and keep them and sometimes give them away to other people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an invitation from the Donald.
He needs some Bibles.
All of our listeners, go to one of his hotels I guarantee you, every room will have a drawer containing a Bible. If you've got, an extra $2 lying around, mail it to Donald from his own hotel.
Yeah. And, he is just, like I said, he is stridently Presbyterian, right?
Yeah.
He goes to church, quote, as much as I can, always on Christmas, always on Easter. Always when there's a major occasion. And during the Sundays, I am a Sunday church person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That guy hasn't gone to church that wasn't on Easter or Christmas for 15 years.
Let's see. He emphasizes his commitment to conservative values. In 2013, he said his views on gay marriage are changing, but he's remains in favor of traditional marriage.
Okay. Yeah.
So he
doubled down on traditional marriage recently.
I also think he'll say anything if he thinks it could get him elected president.
I don't think so. I'm going to challenge you on that.
Really?
I think he'll say anything if he thinks it'll get him airtime. I honestly don't think he gives a fuck if he ever becomes president. I think he cares about getting airtime, and that's
It's just
it.
constant publicity.
He knows he's never going to be president. He's got a strategist just to get on TV. That's his whole strategy.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing.
He would take it, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
You hand that man the presidency?
You don't think they're not following polls? They're not looking at these are the things you say?
Yeah, they're definitely.
Say it. It's inflammatory, but the base is going to love it.
Yeah.
This will get you airtime, but the base is going to love it.
Yeah, it's true. Let's power through the rest of these. Let's just
Okay.
go fast. Bobby Jindal.
There's so many. I didn't realize there were so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
When we agreed to do this, I did not know there were so many.
Yeah, there's like 16 Republicans and 5
God.
Democrats.
Okay, tell us about Bobby Jindal.
Bobby Jindal, he's the second-term governor of Louisiana, and the youngest candidate seeking the Republican nomination so far. His family converted to Catholicism from Hinduism. He is of I believe Indian descent.
I believe you're correct.
And so yes, they're Catholic. He and his wife both converted from, or his wife also converted from Hinduism. So
All right.
there you go.
Okay, Chris Christie.
Okay.
Okay. He was brought up Catholic and attends Mass with his family at St. Joseph's.
Of course, because he's from New Jersey.
Yep. And his wife, Mary Pat. Mary Pat is her name.
Okay.
She led Sunday school for many years. Okay. So it sounds like probably pretty sincere in their Catholicism. And here's proof that they're sincere in their Catholicism. They don't agree with the church. His stance on homosexuality. He's stated to be pro civil unions, but doesn't really know what to do with the whole gay marriage thing.
Well, he doesn't have to anymore.
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of left off the hook, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is pro-life. Apart from cases of rape, incest, that whole thing.
Okay.
So he's not just like a crazy pro-lifer. He does see some need for exceptions.
His rep is being more liberal, which is why he won't get through the primaries either.
Exactly.
Scott Walker, the second term governor of Wisconsin.
Oh, that's Scott Walker.
The most conservative. He was the union buster. In Wisconsin.
That's why I remember that name.
Yeah, he's a peach. Son of a Baptist preacher. Apparently the only presidential candidate without a college degree, so that's interesting. But yes, as a grown person, he remains a Baptist.
Okay, all right.
So there you go. And he says, my relationship with God drives every major decision in my life. And I believe he believes that.
Huh. All right. And then have you ever heard this name before? John Kasich.
He's new to the race. He just barely joined, but yes, I mean I heard that he joined the race.
Okay.
He's from, where is he from?
He's a former, actually, he's the Republican governor of Ohio.
Yes, that's right.
And he was raised in a Roman Catholic home, fell away from it as an adult, but then later converted to Anglicanism.
Anglicanism. You're close. You're fine. We all know what you meant. Anglicanism for a Republican?
I know.
What?
After a personal tragedy made him question the existence of God. And he and his wife, Karen, now attend St. Augustine's Anglican Church in Westerville, Ohio.
Didn't make him question it enough.
So he's religious, but attends a fairly benign religion or church.
Right.
So.
Okay, we can move on to the Democrats. We can power through these guys.
Oh, let's save the Democrats for another time.
Okay.
This is. If anybody's still listening, I am amazed.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And you know what? And it actually only matters in the Republican race anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's them. If you're a Republican voter, good luck with that field.
Yeah.
Bunch of assholes, as far as I'm concerned. But at least you know they're all good Christians.
They'll defend your Christian, beliefs
down to the man.
Yeah.
You have Christians protecting you.
Yeah.
And even on the Democrat side, you've got one Jew and the rest are Christians too. So yeah, everybody's a good Christian.
Yep.
So there you go. You are now updated. In terms,
you know the facts, and we will. Let's don't avoid the Democrats.
The Dems. Okay,
we may not get to it next week, but
we'll talk about that.
We'll need to talk.
We've got until
further along.
We've got until November of next year to get through these assholes.
Oh, why did we talk about it then? You're right,
because
it's so early.
It's so far away. All you people in other countries must be just baffled, because I'm baffled as to why the hell we are talking about this election now. But there we go.
Yeah, we didn't have anything else to talk about.
Well, if you want to send us some possible topics for us to talk about in our segment, you can do so by writing into us. That's podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
For those 4 of you that are still listening, please go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or also on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join.
Yes. Don't forget to go to our homepage, thankgodimatheist.com. Click on the donate button on the right side of the screen. That will help us get to Texas and collect our well-earned award. We're probably not going to get. But at least we'll get to see whoever wins pick up their award.
Yeah. It's going to be a good thing.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thanks to Mackenzie for all of your help on Facebook.
And thank you to the Red Rock Hot Club for the beautiful music that we enjoy so much every week.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
Goodbye.